YouTube just announced earlier this year they paid over $70 billion to creators in the last 3 years alone. And that's billion with a B and not million. We know a lot of people right now that are quitting social media. Social media is not the thing. Social media is just simply marketing for the thing.
If you are not operating like a business, we're talking about billions of dollars that are being missed out. I couldn't monetize. I couldn't be consistent across all the platforms. You're gonna burn yourself out because you don't have an understanding of multiple revenue streams. It is this insanity of rat racing going around trying to be everything on every platform.
Every single creator seems to be struggling with monetization right now. They're posting every day, waiting for that next big brand deal, but not getting a breakthrough. In today's video, we're going to talk about what creators are doing wrong and the business systems you need to put in place to turn your attention into revenue. So we need to talk about something that's completely reshaping how people think about being a creator. YouTube just announced earlier this year they paid over $70 billion to creators in the last 3 years alone. And that's billion with a B and not million. But YouTube made that announcement, and it made me think about how many creators that we talk to, and they're struggling with monetization. They're struggling with the ability to bring in money from all the time that they're investing on all of these platforms. And they're asking that same question, which platform is going to pay me the most money? Why don't you share why that's likely the wrong question for creators to be asking?
It's absolutely the wrong question to ask, because the truth is I remember showing up every single day on every single platform. And I was burnt out, I couldn't monetize, and I couldn't be consistent across all the platforms for a multitude of reasons. You just can't without having a team, without having an infrastructure, which being a creator is a business. I've always operated as a founder, as a startup. And so if you don't have the infrastructure, the team, the understanding of what each platform is for and who the audience, which audience is living on which platform, you're going to kill yourself trying to figure out how to monetize. You're going to burn yourself out because you don't have an understanding of multiple revenue streams because you think you have to do all of them. When the truth is, if you master one or two of them, you can navigate the rest of them eventually. It's hard to do. And so I know for myself, I went from chasing platforms to building revenue streams that actually were valuable.
And what's fascinating about what you just said, even thinking about trying to put yourself over all of these platforms. And if you're doing that without a team, you're likely going to struggle in the first place.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to post on one, then you have to post on the next one, then you have to post on the next one. And then a lot of times you'll end up forgetting, hey, I didn't post on that platform. But most creators are looking at this as, I want to create. And that's really all I want to do. They're not thinking about it from a business perspective. Everybody wants to get followers and more followers, and they want to get views, and they want to get some type of engagement from people because they feel like that's what brands are looking for. So now you're taking away your creativity because you're only doing it for brand deals, and you're only doing it seeking out something that really may not even be genuine to who you are.
No.
But not only are you doing that, you have to do that on multiple platforms, and it's not allowing you to make real money. And so it's easy to get burnt out.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that process and how it's easy to get burnt out as a creator and what they should be doing differently? While I get this chicken.
We talk a lot, or you'll hear social media coaches talking about how you can repurpose your content. And that is true. Here's the problem, though, and here's what they don't tell you, is I can repurpose a piece of content for Instagram, but the language that I would use for Instagram is very different than what I would use for LinkedIn. So my captions and my titles and the copy that I'm using, even though it's the same video, have to be written with the audience in mind again. So even taking a YouTube video, my YouTube title would not be my LinkedIn title or my Instagram title. Then the content that's trending on TikTok is not going to trend on Instagram for another 2 weeks. It is this insanity of rat racing going around trying to be everything on every platform. Like you're trying to make business content on LinkedIn, then you're going to try, do you create a new, especially if you're multifaceted like I am, or like you have multiple niches. It's like, do I make cooking content on Instagram? And then do I make beauty content?
Gary Vee said make it
fashion
all.
content? And then do I make business content? You will burn yourself out. And I am speaking from personal experience where I was burning out almost every quarter. And I had a team in full transparency.
Yeah.
I was burning out trying to make 13 different kinds of content for every single platform and also not knowing why it didn't work. And as I added more niches, being multidimensional, it made it harder for my audience to know what I was going to give them next. So the brand deals started actually dwindling. And they were dwindling because the brands didn't know if I knew who I was because it was confusing.
That's crazy. And I'm glad you brought that up because it's a perfect segue into the next part of this, because we talked about people seeking out brand deals and you're posting content every day, waiting for the next big thing. And I can even talk about that personally for me. When I started posting on YouTube, it was 2012, 2013. And I'm doing it and everything. This is before brand deals. Right. This is before any of that.
There were not influencers.
So I was posting on YouTube at that point in time, and I was able to travel and speak and perform and do all of those things. But then after a while, those calls stop. And when those calls stop, now you really have to think about what you're going to do next. And if you haven't built a system that's going to allow you to bring in a consistent level of income, you're kind of stuck. And not only are you brand deal dependent, you're platform dependent.
Correct.
And based on the platforms that are working for you, you feel like you need to post every single day. We know a lot of people right now that are quitting social media. They're quitting altogether. And it's people who have done this for so long, whether it's burnout or they're unable to turn this into a real business. Who knows? But we know a lot of people who are quitting social media right now. But as I think about this, I want you to also share a little bit about where you are right now and how you went from brand deals to running a business and why the audience might want to do the same.
There's something that I wanted to mention. And I'm going to answer your question, I promise. If you are seeking a business coach, if you are seeking a social media coach, if you're seeking someone to help you run your business and they're having you chase virality, run. Run. You would rather have 2,000 followers in a specific niche. The riches really are in the niches. And you would rather have those 2,000 people who are fully invested in your journey, in your story, in your product, in your service, than to have 100,000 followers who are not going to purchase from you. You have talked about this in another video. To have an email list of 10,000 people, but you can't convert them, doesn't matter to whatever your business is. And so with that in mind, I remember 2020, 2021 is some of the best money I ever made in my career as a creator, because the money was easy. The money was coming fast. It was easy to go viral. It was easy in beauty and skincare and fashion. I mean, it was a wonderful time. But I knew I couldn't do that forever. And what happened is once the world opened up and once, there were billions of creators now on each platform. It was like, how do you separate yourself from everyone else? And then how do you create something, at least for me, that was sustainable? And so because I operated as a startup from the beginning, and I'm going to steal your line, and I know the hate that I always do this, but I'm going to steal your line.
The hate? What? You steal my stuff all the time.
All the time. The truth is, actually, let me not butcher it. What do you always say about social media? It's like the marketing for...
Oh, yeah. Social media is not the thing. Social media is just simply marketing for the thing.
Yes.
Most people are doing social media completely wrong. And you're focused on the followers and the views. But what happens is you get 100,000 followers, but they won't buy anything from you because you are making funny videos and you're trying to sell plumbing. Like it doesn't really matter to them. And I'm sure there are plumbers who are making money from that. But the reality is most of the people who want to get a lot of followers, they don't even know why they want to get a lot of followers.
Correct.
They just want the number. I mean, I think about someone we actually did a training with and she had over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now, she was getting paid money from ad revenue, but that was it. She tried to build a system outside of that, but based on how she built her audience, they weren't converting into anything. And what we think about from a marketing perspective, not just social media marketing, because we have a full service marketing company, but the way we think about marketing is you have to be disruptive in your market. disruptive in your industry, disruptive in your space. And so we've developed an entire framework for that called the Disrupt framework. And the first part of that is define and decide the people that you're solving a problem for. And that's how you build your content. And if you look in Instagram bios, people will say, hey, I help entrepreneurs create their first offer in 90 days or something along those lines. You're defining and deciding the problem that you're solving and the people that you're solving it for. Now you're doing social media a little bit differently. Again, social media is not the thing. Social media is just simply marketing for the thing. You set up systems so you allow yourself to make money, to bring in revenue from that. For us, we do things a lot differently. Why don't you share a little bit more details about that?
You know, I guess, oh gosh, I'm going to be really transparent here talking money online is a very strange thing to do, but we're going to talk about it because it's a business podcast. The truth is I can make $15,000 and I have, and I do for a single YouTube video on someone else's platform. And I have the smallest, like my smallest follower account. I have 2,000 something followers on YouTube. It's my hear me loud and clear. Look right here. Look at me right here. YouTube is my smallest audience platform, but I make the most money per video on that platform. And then on other platforms, I've done $30,000 deals over 3, 5, 6 months, which is great. However, the hardest part and the scariest part, which is why a lot of creators are quitting, is it's so inconsistent. You can go 3, 4, 5 months and make $0, and then you can have one big month and make $150,000 in brand deals. It really is a wave like that, which your nervous system is shot, you're being burnt out because you still have to be consistent during those 3, 6 months where you're not making any revenue or barely any revenue. Or what we decided to do a couple of years ago was to build a company in a business where social media was the top of funnel and brought in clients to our agency. One day it's a $25,000 deal. Our first month it was $47,000. We have done a $76,000 deal this month. And the best part of owning our own business is the marketing is fun. We're not being burnt out. We're working together. We love the people that we work with. The content is valuable. At least I hope it is. For those of you who are watching, I hope it's valuable. But also it's the consistent revenue. Like we know for the next 12 months, we're good. Our company is good. We're being paid good. I can pay the bills. My mortgage is good. My kids are fine. The idea of being able to, even though entrepreneurship is incredibly scary because it is very much an up and down battle, but I would rather funnel and have our social media be useful for the marketing piece to bring in more clients so that we can actually also do good in the world. I know it sounds really cliche, but we actually get to do really dope shit with really dope clients in really dope industries that have, even for us, expanded our knowledge, our education, our 100%. Network, and the people that we get to work with are extraordinary. Now, we also don't take on every client.
Yeah. And as you say that too, one of the things you just touched on is recurring revenue.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the inconsistencies, when you have recurring revenue, it's a little bit different because now you know that there's a certain amount of money that's going to come in every single month. And what you do is you build a sales system or you build a content system that funnels into more sales for your business. But when I say recurring revenue, a lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about, I would imagine. Why don't you talk a little bit about recurring revenue and why that's so important?
No, you can tell them because I sure had something to say about, hey, when you're looking for a brand partnership deal, the idea of having to chase brand partnerships and pitching all the time was effing exhausting. Yeah. It was exhausting. And I know we're going to talk about this later, but even like, am I not good enough? Is my content not good enough? Am I not the right fit? Am I not in alignment for the brands? There's also a bajillion people who are pitching with their budgets that are a lot less than what I would charge. So even the idea of that is making my nervous system like be shot right now.
So here's the transformation I want you to get by understanding this. I want you to get a complete mindset shift when you think about content creation and business. So if you've done any business, you've probably heard the term recurring revenue, whether it's monthly or annual. Recurring is something that's going to come to you every single month, or, you know, it's going to come to you every year in this amount. And so that's the goal for you to get to. So some people you might hear, I had a $10,000 month, or I had a $20,000 month. Some people that could be one deal. But if you know there's $5,000 in recurring revenue, depending on how you have your contract set up, which also is another conversation. Your business should have some type of agreements when you're working with people. Otherwise, you get taken advantage of, like I did when I was 21 years old, but that's a conversation for another day.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to put yourself in a place as a business owner, as a creator. And when I say that, I mean in that exact order, as a business owner, as a creator, to where you can bring some consistency to your business. I am not a creator. I'm not a creator. I'm a business owner who just happens to create. I will never be a creator or identify as a creator. That's just part of what we do. I'm a business owner who just happens to create. And when you start to think from that perspective, you allow yourself to do content a whole lot differently. And you allow yourself to create systems that allow you to bring in recurring revenue. And I know we talked about systems a lot, so I'll give you an example. We have a full service marketing company. And as a full service marketing company, we use social media marketing to funnel people into our business from different aspects. So that's Instagram, that's YouTube, that's TikTok, but it's Instagram, YouTube primarily. And it's also LinkedIn. So there's people on different platforms who likely know us for the same things because of the conversations that we're having. So not only do we do social media marketing for people, we do email marketing for people. We do paid ads for people. We actually do podcasts for people. We do blogs for people. We do a variety of different things, but it all funnels into the same idea, the same foundation, the same structure. Social media is the top of the funnel for our marketing company, and we allow that to bring in recurring revenue for our company every single month. And when you set up a system like that, what you're positioning yourself for is allowing yourself to become an expert in an industry that brings in recurring revenue for you every single month, or you can sign larger deals, annual deals, that brings in annual recurring revenue. So I hope that sums it up well.
No, that was perfect. Yeah, I would rather have the recurring revenue every time because I know exactly what's coming in and I don't have to continue to chase as a creator. And so then I get to also be picky and choosy about the brand deals that I do take based on the platform and based on how authentic I can be with the content that I create. Then I don't have to fake for the content that I don't want to make anyway.
So why is it important for you right now to have that shift? Because I know I've talked quite a bit, but why is it important for you right now to have that shift from being a creator to really operating as a founder?
I'm a creator. I identify as a creator. I'm also a businesswoman and an investor, and I operate in so many different lanes. But I also can't have opportunities for me when there's inconsistency and when the voice isn't the same, when the authenticity, which I hate that word because I feel like it's overused, but
You use it a lot, though.
I do. People love me for funny content and for beauty content, but not realizing that I'm actually really smart and that I'm running a full-scale business and that we did 6 figures in our first year. Like, to be super successful and for people not to know me for the thing that I'm actually successful for in real life. And then as a creator, there's also a responsibility that we hold. As founders, there's a responsibility that we hold. We say all the time, to be an influencer without being influential is a waste. And so how can we educate and entertain with the kind of content that we create that not only is beneficial to us, but also for our clients and for other people who want to do what we do? Literally, we're watching our friends leave LA because they're burnt out. They're leaving LA because they haven't figured out the system to making money. We've been having this conversation a lot, even in the last month, with particularly millennial friends of ours who are trying to figure out pivoting and navigating what they're supposed to do next. And the creator economy has changed and they haven't built businesses or foundations or infrastructures that are valuable to themselves, but also to the audiences that they have. In this season of your life, if you are a creator, if you are an influencer, please listen to me well. If you are not operating like a business, we're talking about billions of dollars that are being missed out. Billions of dollars. If you haven't seen the Forbes 25 list or the Forbes top 50 list, the creators are making millions of dollars. The money is available, but you have no idea who you're talking to. You are making funny content, but you want to be an interior decorator. It just doesn't align. Make the content that aligns with the business that you want to have that will attract the clients that you want to pay you large amounts of money. I don't want a $500 client, no offense. I would rather have a $50,000 client, and this probably a digression, but also a $500 client is a much harder sell than the $50,000 client who immediately wires the money and is wanting to work together. And they're like, hey, money sent before the conversation's over. Let's get to work tomorrow. And they don't really ask you any questions. And it's a collaboration. The money exists. The money is there. Your clients are there. We talk openly about money. We talk openly about monetization because the truth is we can't service everybody.
I mean, and the other part of that is I think there are so many people who don't realize that truthfully, and I'm going to give you something that I probably shouldn't say, but you can make a lot more money doing this for other people than you can doing it for yourself.
Amen. Preach, bro.
For most people anyway. You can make a lot more money doing this for other people than you can doing it for yourself. So that's something that really goes unsaid that I think needs to be said more. And the other part of that is I want you to stop comparing yourself
Please.
to other people. Don't compare yourself to myself and Sarah. Think about the fact that we can do it. You can definitely do it too. Yes. And I say that knowing how the brain is wired. So there's this thing called the social comparison theory. So you hear Sarah and I talk about, we made $47,000 in our first month in business, and the $76,000 client that we signed, and the $25,000, and all of these numbers. And you're like, oh, okay, but that's not possible for me. I'm telling you, you're lying to yourself. It is possible for you. But here's what you need to do. First and foremost, stop saying that it's not possible, because it 100% is. But speaking more about the social comparison theory, during caveman times, you're watching the tribe, and what will happen is if you get left by the tribe, you will likely die because you can't keep up. And your brain is wired to look at the world like that. So you're constantly scanning to check your social status. So you open up social media, you're looking at all the people, you're looking at people saying they made $10,000 in a month, they made $20,000, they made $76,000, whatever the number is, and you're comparing that to yourself and you're feeling inadequate. If you feel that, unfollow those people and start to focus on what you can do to build for yourself. What is it that people want from you? What are the problems that you can solve? Answer those questions and start building from there. It's hard not to compare yourself to people. A lot of us want to keep up with the Joneses. It's easy to do that, or it's easy to try to do that. And we find ourselves in situations that we don't really need to be in because of doing those things. But stop comparing yourself to other people and wake up every day and compete with yourself.
Can I add something to that? The truth is also you're watching our Step 78, but you didn't see the underground, the rough nights that I'm not sure how we're going to make payroll, not sure, like, do we have enough to pay the bills this month? Can we cover our expenses? How do we expand the team? We need new equipment. The nights of crime where you feel like it's not working. You didn't see the 6 months of like
nothing.
The grind. And it wasn't even 6 months. It might have been like 11 months of like nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah.
$0.
And it's just
nothing.
The hard work of showing up every day, despite what it looked like was real, despite what it looked like was true. What happens is you, as you mentioned, you're looking at step 78 and wondering why I'm not there. But we took 77 steps to get there.
Yeah.
You didn't see the 2 years of grind, day in and day out. You didn't see that, but you're comparing your success or the lack of success to what you see as somebody's curated success story. Because you're seeing the highlights. Now, granted, we're sharing more than we probably should share. But the truth is, we want people to know that there is more that's possible for you. And I don't want to start preaching, but the truth is, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, but I promise you, there's some doubt that's going to pop up. There are some feelings of inadequacy that are going to pop up for you. And what determines how successful you will be is what you do during those moments. How bad do you want it? How much will you show up for yourself? And how are you truly going to build?
And the truth is also, is it about you? I think sometimes, as whether you're a creator or a founder, and you should be a founder, creator, business owner, creator, is it about you? Like, are you proud of the content that you're making? Are you serving someone? If you are creating content for the masses rather than creating content for one person, you are missing a massive opportunity. The money is by being able to speak to one person directly, to solve a problem for one person, rather than trying to create content that is for everybody. We always say, like, you can't sell to everyone. If you sell to everyone, you're selling to no one. And if this isn't where I thought I was going with this conversation either, but if you are a creator, listen to me well, and you are wanting to work with a brand, look at the brand's aesthetics. Do you align with the brand's aesthetics? If you are an influencer and you're wanting to work with a brand, does your messaging align with this particular brand? If there's a certain religious issue, if there's some political issue, if there's a voice or a brand voice that this particular company has, are you aligned with that company? Some of your frustrations are also because you're pitching to the wrong brands. If you are someone who's in food, but you don't really make beauty content, it doesn't fit, it doesn't work. If you are in construction, but you're not pitching someone who aligns with your particular industry, it won't work, which is also another reason why you're frustrated. You're pitching to every large major brand. You think you have to go to a Walmart or a Target or wherever. I mean, we're boycotting, but that's not the point. But maybe there are other Black-owned brands. Like, as a Black business owner, as a Black woman, there are other Black brands that I would go to pitch who align with what I want to do. If you are in construction, I would go after steel-toe boots. I would go after particular socks. If there's like a covering or a shirt or whatever, make sure that it aligns. Sometimes we're also pitching to the wrong people, which also tells me you're not a founder or a business owner, because if you were a business owner, you would be pitching to the wrong client.
I'm going to leave you with this. I want you to do 3 things from this video. If you take anything else from this entire conversation, I want you to do these 3 things. Pick a problem, pick a person, pick a platform, and decide how you're going to build differently.
If this video changed the way you feel about creating, watch this video to help you understand how creators are disrupting the $1 trillion ads market.